Hello, and welcome back to Better English Step by Step. This is your time to slow down, take a deep breath, and focus entirely on your English fluency. If you are joining us for the first time, this is a place where we put away the fast cuts and the busy screens. We simply listen, understand, and repeat. I am your guide for today, and I am so happy you have decided to dedicate this hour to yourself and your learning.
It is great to be here. I think a lot of us really need this kind of session. Lately, I have been spending a lot of time just listening to English. I found this incredible 5-hour compilation of podcasts about global trends, the environment, and nutrition. It was fascinating. I sat there, I had my headphones on, and I felt like I understood almost everything. It felt like my English was really advanced.
That sounds like a wonderful way to immerse yourself. Listening to long-form content is one of the best ways to train your ear, but I sense there might be a but coming.
Yes, there is a but. The problem started when I took off my headphones. I tried to explain what I had just heard to a friend. I knew exactly what the speaker said about climate change and population growth, but when I opened my mouth to speak, the words just didn't come out right. I found myself using really simple sentences. The podcast host used words like indicate and acknowledge and estimate, but I was just saying show and know and guess. It was frustrating. It felt like my brain was full of gold, but my mouth was full of rusted pennies.
That is such a perfect way to describe it. A brain full of gold and a mouth full of rusted pennies. Please know that you are not alone in feeling this. This is what we call the passive gap. It is the distance between your passive vocabulary, the words you understand when you hear them, and your active vocabulary, the words you can actually find and use when you are speaking.
The passive gap. That makes sense. It feels like a gap. It feels like a canyon sometimes. I understand these B2 and C1 level words. I don't need a dictionary when I hear them. But why can't I use them?
Because listening and speaking are two very different muscular actions for the brain. Recognition is easier than production. When you binge watch a 5-hour video on IELTS topics, you are training your recognition muscles. They are getting very strong. But your production muscles, the ones that have to reach into your memory, grab a specific word, and push it out of your mouth, those muscles are still sleeping.
So how do we wake them up? Do I need to go learn a new list of advanced vocabulary?
No, that is the best news I have for you today. You do not need to learn anything new right now. You already have the treasure inside your head. You just need a key to unlock it. Today, we are not going to memorize a new list. We are going to do a swap shop. We are going to take the simple verbs you already use, those rusted pennies, and we are going to swap them one by one for the golden words you already understand.
I like the sound of that. A swap shop. So we are going to take a simple sentence and just upgrade it?
Exactly. We are going to focus on 3 specific groups of verbs today. These are verbs you hear constantly in high-level discussions, news reports, and exam settings. We will look at mental process verbs, showing and causing verbs, and academic action verbs. By the end of this hour, you will not just understand these words, you will be speaking them. Are you ready to start?
I am ready. Let's close the gap.
Wonderful. Let's begin with our first group. These are the mental process verbs. These are words we use to describe what is happening inside our heads, our thoughts, our guesses, and our decisions.
I use these all the time. I am always saying I think or I guess or I decided.
And those are perfectly correct English. But if you want to sound more professional, or if you are taking an exam like the IELTS, you need to show more precision. I think is a bit vague. So our first swap is this. Instead of saying think, I want you to consider the word consider.
Think versus consider. They feel similar, but consider sounds slower.
Yes, think can be instant. I think it's red. I think I'm hungry. But consider implies that you are weighing information. You are looking at the options. It is thoughtful. It is deliberate. If you are discussing a global trend like we heard in that long podcast, you don't just think about the problem. You consider the impact.
Okay, I see the nuance. It adds weight to the thought.
Let's practice this swap. I am going to give you a simple sentence using think about. I want you to listen to it, and then we will swap it for consider. Here is the simple version. We need to think about the long-term effects.
We need to think about the long-term effects.
Now let's upgrade it. Listen to the rhythm. We need to consider the long-term effects.
We need to consider the long-term effects.
Good. Now, you listening at home, join us. I will say the upgraded sentence. I will leave a quiet space for you to repeat it exactly as I said it. We need to consider the long-term effects.
We need to consider the long-term effects.
Let's try another one. Imagine you are talking about buying a house or choosing a university. You might say, "Have you thought about moving abroad?" It is a good sentence, but let's make it sophisticated. Have you considered moving abroad?
Have you considered moving abroad?
Notice the grammar here. After consider, we often use the ing form of the verb. Considered moving, considered changing. Let's try a sentence with that pattern. The government is thinking about changing the law. Let's swap thinking about for considering.
The government is considering changing the law.
Excellent. Listener, your turn. I will say the simple version. You try to say the advanced version before I do. Ready? Here's the simple one. We should think about the environmental impact. Did you say we should consider the environmental impact? If you did, well done. You instantly sounded more professional.
It really does change the tone. It sounds like I have done my research. What is our next mental verb?
The next one is for when we are not sure about a number or a fact. Usually we say guess. I guess there are 50 people. I guess the price will go up.
Guess feels a little bit like gambling, like I am just closing my eyes and picking a number.
Exactly. In an academic context, we don't want to close our eyes. We want to use logic. So we swap guess for estimate.
Estimate. That sounds much more scientific.
It is. To estimate means to make an educated guess based on information you have. It is perfect for describing charts, trends, or future predictions. Let's practice the feeling of this word. Listen to this simple sentence. They guess that the population will rise.
They guess that the population will rise.
Now let's apply the swap. We are scientists now. They estimate that the population will rise.
They estimate that the population will rise.
Listener, repeat that after me. Feel the precision in the word. They estimate that the population will rise.
They estimate that the population will rise.
Let's try a past tense example. The experts guessed the cost would be high. Let's swap guessed for estimated.
The experts estimated the cost would be high.
Now I want to challenge you. I am going to ask you a question, Speaker 2, and I want you to answer starting with I estimate. Here's the question. How long will this project take?
I estimate that it will take about 3 weeks.
Perfect. It sounds authoritative. Listener, try this one. Imagine looking at a crowd of people. Instead of saying, I guess there are 1,000 people, use our new word. Go ahead. I estimate there are 1,000 people. It sounds like you counted them, or at least looked very carefully.
It gives me a lot more confidence. I feel like an expert, even if I am just guessing.
That is the power of vocabulary. It signals confidence. Let's move to our third mental verb. This is for when we finally understand something is true. Usually we say realize. I realized I was wrong. Or even simpler, know.
Realize is a good word, isn't it?
It is a very good word. But often in debates or discussions, we want to show that we accept a fact, even if we don't like it. We want to show we are listening to the other side. For this, we swap realize or admit for acknowledge.
Acknowledge. That is a bit of a mouthful. Acknowledge.
It is a longer word. It has a lovely rhythm. Acknowledge, edge. It means to accept or admit the existence or truth of something. It is very respectful. Instead of saying, I know there is a problem, you say, I acknowledge there is a problem.
That sounds much more polite. It sounds like a diplomat speaking.
Precisely. If you are writing an essay, this word is gold. Let's practice the swap. Simple version. We must know the risks.
We must know the risks.
Swapped version. We must acknowledge the risks.
We must acknowledge the risks.
Listener, give this a try. It is a great word to say slowly. We must acknowledge the risks.
We must acknowledge the risks.
Let's try it in a discussion context. Imagine someone makes a good point, but you disagree with their conclusion. You might say, I see your point, but. Let's upgrade I see to acknowledge.
I acknowledge your point, but I disagree with the solution.
That was beautiful. Listener, try that full sentence. It is a fantastic sentence for any debate. I acknowledge your point, but I disagree with the solution.
I acknowledge your point, but I disagree with the solution.
And our final verb for this mental group. It is about making choices. Usually we say decide. We need to decide the best path.
Decide is one of the first words we learn. It's hard to stop using it.
We don't need to stop using it, but we can add variety. When we want to say that we are finding the answer through facts and investigation, we swap decide for determine.
Determine. Like the police are trying to determine the cause of the accident?
Exactly. They aren't just deciding based on opinion, they are finding the truth. Determine implies a process of discovery. Let's try a business example. Simple. We need to decide the price.
We need to decide the price.
Swapped. We need to determine the price.
We need to determine the price.
Listener, repeat after me. Focus on the T sound in determine. We need to determine the price.
We need to determine the price.
Let's mix it up. Factors that determine health. This is a phrase you might hear in a podcast about nutrition. Simple. Factors that decide health. Active swap. Factors that determine health.
Factors that determine health.
So we have 4 powerful mental verbs: consider, estimate, acknowledge, determine.
I can already feel my speaking battery charging up a little bit. It is interesting because I know all these words. I have heard them 1,000 times, but saying them feels different.
It feels different because you are taking ownership of them. Before, they belonged to the podcast host. Now they belong to you. If you are enjoying this process of upgrading your English step by step, please consider subscribing to the channel. We do this every week, taking one small piece of English and polishing it until it shines. We would love to have you with us for the long term.
Absolutely. The more you listen and repeat, the easier it gets. Shall we move to the second group? You call this showing and causing.
Yes, this group is essential for anyone who needs to describe data, charts, or chains of events, which is basically everyone doing IELTS or business English. We are going to look at how we describe what we see and what happens next.
I struggle with this. I always end up saying the chart shows or this makes that happen.
Show and make are the heavy lifters of English. They do a lot of work, but they can get tired. Let's give them a break. Our first swap in this group is for show, but specifically when something gives us a sign or a signal. We swap show for indicate.
Indicate, like the indicator light on a car.
Exactly. That light shows you are turning. It indicates your direction. In data descriptions, indicate is very strong. Instead of the graph shows a rise, we say the graph indicates a rise.
The graph indicates a rise.
It sounds much more formal. It suggests that the graph is pointing us toward a conclusion. Let's practice. Simple sentence. Recent studies show a change in habits.
Recent studies show a change in habits.
Now the upgrade. Recent studies indicate a change in habits.
Recent studies indicate a change in habits.
Listener, try this one. It's a bit longer, so take a deep breath. Recent studies indicate a change in habits.
Recent studies indicate a change in habits.
We can also use it for symptoms. If we are talking about health, we might say high fever shows an infection. Let's swap it. High fever indicates an infection.
High fever indicates an infection.
Listener, your turn. High fever indicates an infection.
High fever indicates an infection.
Now let's look at make. This is probably the most common verb in English. Make a cake, make a mistake, make money. But when we are talking about creating something abstract, like energy, ideas, or discussion, we can swap make for generate.
Generate, like a generator?
Yes, a generator creates power. To generate means to produce or create something that wasn't there before. We don't say the solar panels make electricity. We say the solar panels generate electricity.
That sounds correct. Generate feels energetic.
It does. Let's try it with ideas. Instead of saying the meeting made lots of ideas, we say the meeting generated lots of ideas.
The meeting generated lots of ideas.
Listener, try that one. Feel the energy in the word. The meeting generated lots of ideas.
The meeting generated lots of ideas.
What about creating jobs? That is a common topic in news reports. Simple. The new factory will make jobs. Active swap. The new factory will generate jobs.
The new factory will generate jobs.
Listener, you try. The new factory will generate jobs.
The new factory will generate jobs.
Excellent. Now, sometimes we don't create something new. We just change something that already exists. We usually say change. The weather changed, I changed my plans.
Change is a classic. Is there a better word?
Change is fine, but it is very broad. If we want to talk about a small, specific adjustment, we swap change for alter.
Alter. A-L-T-E-R.
Yes, to alter something means to change it slightly, but the core thing remains the same. If you change your clothes, you put on a new outfit. If you alter your clothes, you sew them to fit better.
Oh, that is a great distinction. So if I say we need to alter our plans, it means we are keeping the main plan, just tweaking it.
Exactly. It shows you are flexible but focused. Let's practice. Simple. The drug changed his behavior.
The drug changed his behavior.
Swapped. The drug altered his behavior.
The drug altered his behavior.
Listener, repeat this. The drug altered his behavior. Let's try a passive sentence. This is very common in formal writing. The image has been changed. Swapped. The image has been altered.
The image has been altered.
Listener, try it. The image has been altered.
The image has been altered.
Our final verb in the showing and causing group is for when one thing starts another thing. We usually say cause. The heavy rain caused a flood.
Cause works well. What is the upgrade?
The upgrade is trigger, like the trigger of a mechanism. It implies a reaction. You pull one thing and something else happens immediately. We swap cause for trigger when talking about immediate reactions or chain reactions.
So, the smoke triggered the alarm.
Perfect. Caused the alarm is okay, but triggered the alarm tells us it was automatic. Let's try it with emotions or debates. Simple. The comment caused a debate.
The comment caused a debate.
Swapped. The comment triggered a debate.
The comment triggered a debate.
Listener, try that. It is a strong, sharp word. The comment triggered a debate.
The comment triggered a debate.
Let's do one related to health, maybe allergies. Nuts can cause a reaction. Swapped. Nuts can trigger a reaction.
Nuts can trigger a reaction.
Listener, one last time for this group. Nuts can trigger a reaction.
Nuts can trigger a reaction.
So, we have 4 dynamic verbs in this group. Indicate, generate, alter, trigger.
Indicate, generate, alter, trigger. I feel like I could write a really impressive report just using those 4 words. The data indicates that the new policy triggered a reaction, which generated debate and altered the outcome.
Look at you go! That was a completely fluent C1 level sentence, and you just built it out of the blocks we practiced. That is exactly what we are aiming for.
It is amazing how much better it sounds than the data shows the policy made a reaction which made a debate and changed the outcome. That sounds so childish compared to the first one.
It does, and the beauty is the meaning is exactly the same. You didn't become smarter, you just became more articulate. You are painting with more colors.
I love that analogy, painting with more colors. Okay, I am ready for the last group. You called this academic action.
Yes, this is the group for when we need to sound formal, polite, and official. These are verbs we use to describe getting things, needing things, and helping people.
Okay, get, need, and help. I use those 3 words probably 100 times a day.
We all do, and in a coffee shop with friends, they are perfect. But in a university seminar or a job interview, they can sound a little too casual. Let's start with get. I need to get a visa. Did you get the email? I got a degree.
Get is everywhere.
It is, but when we want to emphasize the effort of getting something or the official nature of it, we swap get for obtain.
Obtain. It sounds like something I do at a government office.
It usually is. To obtain means to get something through planned effort. You obtain permission, you obtain a degree, you obtain results. It sounds accomplished. Let's practice. Simple. She got a master's degree.
She got a master's degree.
Swapped. She obtained a master's degree.
She obtained a master's degree.
Listener, try that. It gives respect to the achievement. She obtained a master's degree.
She obtained a master's degree.
How about getting information? We need to get more data. Let's upgrade it. We need to obtain more data.
We need to obtain more data.
Listener, your turn. We need to obtain more data.
We need to obtain more data.
Now, let's look at need. I need water. I need help. I need to go. It is a primal word. It comes from the gut. But in a rule book or a requirement list, need is a bit soft. We swap need for require.
Require. Like a requirement.
Exactly. Require implies a rule, a standard, or a necessity that cannot be avoided. Plants require sunlight. It sounds like a law of nature, not just a wish. Let's practice. Simple. This job needs experience.
This job needs experience.
Swapped. This job requires experience.
This job requires experience.
Listener, try that one. It is a very common sentence in job listings. This job requires experience.
This job requires experience.
Let's do a passive construction. Safety glasses are needed. Swapped. Safety glasses are required.
Safety glasses are required.
Listener, repeat. Safety glasses are required.
Safety glasses are required.
And our final verb for today, help. Can you help me? This tool helps with writing. Help is a wonderful, kind word, but in a professional service context, we often swap help for assist.
Assist, like an assistant.
Yes, to assist implies that you are supporting someone who is doing the main work. It is professional and polite. How may I assist you? Sounds much better in a hotel than how can I help you? Though both are fine. Assist just adds that layer of service.
And we usually say assist with, right?
Very good observation. Yes, we help someone do something, but we assist someone with something, or assist in doing something. Let's practice the with pattern. Simple. This program helps with learning.
This program helps with learning.
Swapped. This program assists with learning.
This program assists with learning.
Listener, give that a try. This program assists with learning.
This program assists with learning.
Let's try a person-to-person example. My colleague helped me. Swapped. My colleague assisted me.
My colleague assisted me.
Listener, last one. My colleague assisted me.
My colleague assisted me.
So there we have it. Our academic action trio. Obtain, require, assist.
Obtain, require, assist. I feel like I am ready to go apply for a job or write a thesis. To obtain this position, you are required to assist customers.
Perfect. You are combining them naturally now, and that is the goal. We have covered nearly a dozen words today. Let's just take a moment to recall them. We had our mental verbs, consider, estimate, acknowledge, determine.
Then we had the showing and causing group, indicate, generate, alter, trigger.
And finally, the academic actions, obtain, require, assist.
That is 11 words, 11 keys to unlock that treasure chest we talked about at the beginning.
Exactly. And remember, you didn't have to learn the definitions of these words today. You already knew them. You just had to practice the swap. You had to build the muscle memory to reach for the gold coin instead of the rested penny.
So what should I do next? I am probably going to listen to another podcast later today. How do I keep this going?
That brings us to your challenge for the week. The next time you press play on a long listening video, whether it is a 5-hour IELTS compilation or a 10-minute news report, I want you to play a game with yourself. I want you to be a word hunter.
A word hunter. I like that. What am I hunting for?
You are hunting for just one of the words we practiced today. Just one. Don't try to catch them all. Pick a favorite. Maybe it is trigger. Maybe it is estimate. Listen carefully. And when you hear the speaker use that word, I want you to pause the video immediately.
Pause it? Okay.
Pause it, and then say the sentence you just heard out loud. Shadow the speaker. Taste the word in your mouth. And then, here's the extra challenge. Try to make one new sentence of your own using that same word. So if I hear, the rain triggered a flood, I pause, repeat it, and then say, the news triggered a reaction? Exactly. By doing that, you are moving the word from your passive listening bucket into your active speaking bucket. You are claiming it as your own. If you do this with just one word per video, in a month, your vocabulary will be transformed.
That sounds manageable. I can do one word a day.
I know you can. And to everyone listening, I know you can too. You have done the hard work of understanding English. Now give yourself the permission and the practice to speak it with power.
This has been such a helpful session. I feel much more equipped to tackle those complex topics now.
I am so glad to hear that. Thank you, Speaker 2, for being such a great student today. And thank you, listener, for trusting us with your time. Remember, fluency is not a race. It is a series of small, steady steps. If you enjoyed this lesson and want to keep building your better English step by step, please make sure you are subscribed. We have so many more calm, practical sessions coming your way.
See you next time.
Until then, keep listening, keep repeating, and keep swapping those words. Good luck!